Today is a day that used to be known as Black Monday because this is the day across the league where teams are firing head coaches and general managers. So, as a result of that, they are also putting in requests to hire future general managers and future head coaches. And of course, the San Francisco 49ers are going to be a top target for a ton of teams across the league. And that's where Adam Peters comes into the mix. The 49ers assistant general manager has officially been requested to be interviewed for the open general manager position for the Washington Commanders. Now, obviously, we understand that Adam Peters is one of the top personnel up and coming guys in the league. He's had an opportunity to interview and look for potential other GM jobs for the last couple years in a row, but he has opted to stay locked in with the San Francisco 49ers and right there next to John Lynch. He does a phenomenal job of running the 49ers scouting department. He's huge into the draft process and player evaluation and all those types of things coming from college into the NFL. So he's become a huge asset for the San Francisco 49ers. So as we know, John Lynch has signed a 6-year extension at the beginning of this season. So he's not going anywhere. So that opens up the door for Adam Peters to potentially look for a job elsewhere. Now, this is where the Commanders come into the mix. As I just said, the Commanders have requested permission to interview him, but there's also another element at play that could actually finally pursue Adam Peters away from the San Francisco 49ers. In a very interesting move, the Commanders have hired former general manager of the Warriors, Bob Myers, to help conduct these searches. Now, the reason why this is a very interesting situation and how it ties closely to Adam Peters is because we know that Bob Myers, being in the Bay Area, has spent a lot of time with the San Francisco 49ers. Throughout this offseason, and after the 49ers have signed Nick Bosa to the mega contract extension, General Manager John Lynch talked about how he leaned on Bob Myers quite a bit throughout that process just for advice and counsel and different things like that. So there is a natural relationship between Bob Myers and the San Francisco 49ers, which means there might be a natural relationship here. So we know that the San Francisco 49ers go about the business and go about their structure from a culture standpoint for how they go about doing business the right way. So Bob Myers knows the inner workings of the San Francisco 49ers probably better than any other GM guy in this position to be searching for a new general manager. So it becomes fascinating that that tie could lead to Adam Peters potentially going to one of the most attractive places and destinations in this hiring cycle. As you know, the Commanders just fired Ron Rivera, but they do have top picks. I believe they have a number 2 overall pick. So that is perfect positioning to either get the top quarterback in the NFL draft, the top wide receiver, top tackle. They could do whatever they want at that position, whether it's Caleb Williams, Drake May, Michael Penix. They can find a franchise quarterback early on in this draft. So that is very enticing for a potential GM candidate like Adam Peters. So this could be the spot. It finally could happen where we lose Adam Peters to the Commanders because, like I said, that natural relationship and that natural connection on top of being one of the most sought after spots in this hiring process. And many people might be like, well, it's Washington. Why would that be a top spot? They have completely new ownership. They're going in a completely different direction. And that's where the dysfunction with the Commanders started. It started with the owner down, and now with the new ownership, they have an opportunity to reset the standard of what Washington football is, and that is enticing for a guy like Adam Peters. So it is going to be fascinating to see what ultimately happens because, like we talked about at the beginning, the 49ers are a hotbed for coaches and general managers. The 49ers currently they had 3 general managers. One of them got let go, and Martin Mayhew with the Commanders, who Adam Peters might replace. But you have Queasy with Minnesota. You have Rand Carthon with the Tennessee Titans. And, of course, look at the coaching tree that has came out of the San Francisco 49ers. Robert Saleh in New York. You have Bobby Slowick and D'Amico Ryans with the Texans doing good things over there. So the 49ers have a proven process being able to develop good coaches and develop good executives, which makes them a very, very enticing spot to poach from. So we'll see what ultimately happens here. But I finally think this might be the year that we lose Adam Peters, which is unfortunate because I do think he does phenomenal work within the draft. Everything he's done to set up his internal teams from the outside looking in appears to be top notch. So we know that they've had a ton of success as well, finding gems in the later rounds. So this might be the guy for the Commanders. Hopefully, it's not. Would love to keep Adam Peters around, but like I said, without any ability to ascend beyond assistant general manager within the San Francisco 49ers, it might be time where he ultimately lands his general manager position. Obviously, that means the San Francisco 49ers would have a hole to fill if he does leave. So, where do they go? I would imagine it would be an internal promotion of some sorts of someone who's kind of been waiting in the wings to be able to take over that spot. But again, it's going to be fascinating to see if any other coaches, any other executives pop up on these lists to be interviewed and what have you. A name that many people thought should be fired earlier in the year is quietly picking up some steam, and that's Steve Wilkes. Steve Wilkes is potentially considered as a head coach candidate for some teams, maybe throughout the league. I saw Chris Mortensen say, "Don't sleep on Steve Wilkes as a potential guy to be hired as a head coach in this cycle," because he should have been the head coach with the Carolina Panthers. Instead, they opted to make a change there. So Steve Wilkes is a potential name that we could be on the lookout for, who could get some head coaching opportunities. Again, the San Francisco 49ers do things the right way. They are a very sought after team in the sense of how they build internally, how they build culture, how they manage all those different things. So that's a part of it. When you have success, people want to start to take that success and try to replicate it themselves. And so Steve Wilkes could potentially be a guy that finds himself in a head coaching job. Now, we don't know this yet. No official requests or permissions have been granted or been made, but we're just looking ahead. So I know if you're like me, you're not loving this news because as you kind of heard me talk about it, it does to me feels like this is the perfect fit for him. And especially if you have a trusted source like Bob Myers in that building with Washington, it brings a level of credibility in regards to the searching that they're doing by leaning on like some, well, he's a basketball general manager. He's one of the best general managers across all sports that we have seen in a long time. I'm a Warriors fan, so I know very well what Bob Myers has done. He is a phenomenal general manager and a phenomenal person to put in that seat to help build out a general manager and coaching staff, regardless if he is a football guy. He is an executive of the highest level. So that is where my concern comes from of him potentially being gone. But you guys let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think this is the time that we finally lose Adam Peters to the hiring cycle? It's unfortunate, bittersweet. I love what he's done for the 49ers, but again, I also understand it. He's got to be able to keep growing and keep ascending, and this might be the perfect opportunity for him. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.